In Chadds, Pennsylvania, there is a road named Cossart Road, but to the locals, this stretch of asphalt is better known as Devil's Road. This long and windy road is said to be lined with trees that unnaturally curve away from the sun, as if trying to escape some sort of evil. That evil may just be found at one of the houses on the road, appropriately named the Cult House. This house is believed to be owned by the DuPont family, one of the richest families in Pennsylvania and Delaware. They were rumored to use this house as a place to marry off cousins within their family and hide their deformed children. There was also a tree on the property, nicknamed the Skull Tree since the roots were shaped like a skull, where the DuPonts would bring their deformed offspring and sacrifice them. Another rumor was that the house was given to a cult in the 70s, most likely where the house got its name. Today, the house is said to be abandoned, but be warned, if you are to trespass on the property, people in dark cloaks will chase you, and I don't think they intend on just giving you a slap on the wrist. You should also be sure not to linger too long or stop on Devil's Road either. If you do, black trucks with tinted windows are said to drive you off the road. Before we pull this legend apart, don't forget to like and subscribe for more strange and unusual content. Now, time for the truth. So there's a lot to dissect from this legend. First, let's start with the Devil's Road. Cossart Road is a real road in Chadds, Pennsylvania. But it's not this ominous stretch of road that's in the middle of nowhere that the legend makes it out to be. Actually, my friends and I decided to visit the road, and what we found was that there are many people who live on or near this road.
Okay.
How you doing? They're waving. How you doing?
This legend is right about one thing, though. Do not linger or stop on this road, because the road is very narrow and you will most likely be hit. Maybe, possibly by a black truck with tinted windows, but most likely not. Oh, and those unnaturally bending trees are there. Well, some of them. The road is very long, so not all of the trees are bending away from the sun, but there are a few. Honestly, I don't know what would cause this, but there has to be a scientific explanation, right? Now, onto the Cult House. The legend claims that the DuPonts own and still own this property. I couldn't find anything that made this claim true. If you don't know who the DuPonts are, here's a quick history lesson. The family's fortune began in 1802 when E.I. DuPont started a gunpowder business. E.I. DuPont de Nemours and Company. I'm really sorry if I butchered that. Which produced up to 40% of the Union Army's powder in the American Civil War. This company is also credited with inventing rayon, nylon, and Kevlar. Today, the original company building is a museum and library that you can visit. With their fortune, the family built many estates over the years in Delaware and Pennsylvania, one of which is Longwood Gardens. Today, there are roughly 4,000 family members that share around $16 billion. Unfortunately, with that many family members, some are bound to tarnish the family name. The DuPont name may have started as a respectable one, but between a murder, a standoff with a tank, and raping children, it isn't anymore. And that was your quick history lesson. The skull tree was also real, until it was removed due to many people vandalizing it. Stories and rumors can really make people do some strange things. I mean, imagine having to cut down a tree because too many people were spray painting it and shoving things at its roots. People are just odd. Obviously, the sacrifices of deformed children at the skull tree weren't true, but there were several murders on the property. On December 30th, 1978, the police uncovered the bodies of 3 boys, James Johnston, Dwayne Lincoln, and Wayne Sampson. These boys were part of the Kitty Gang in the Johnston Gang. Pennsylvania's Johnston Gang was led by Bruce Johnston Sr., and his brothers Norman and David. They made millions with their burglary ring during the 60s and the 70s. The Kitty Gang was made up of the young kids within the gang. They would steal small things from stores. A 4th man, Jimmy Sampson, was also killed, but his body was never found, as well as a 15-year-old girl named Robin Miller was also killed. Why were all these people killed? What did they all have in common? Who did it? Well, that all traces back to Bruce Sr. His biological son, Bruce Jr., was dating Robin Miller. Bruce Sr. decided to rape Miller. When Bruce Jr. found this information out, it was around the same time that he was given a subpoena from the court. So he decided to rat out his father and uncles for all their crimes. Before he could do that, Jimmy Johnston, Bruce Sr.'s stepson, told Bruce Sr. about Bruce Jr.'s subpoena. Unfortunately, this backfired on Jimmy because his stepfather decided to take extra measures to save his own ass. On August 15th, the Johnstons picked up the 3 boys from the Oxford Carnival and told them that they needed to hide from law enforcement. Trusting their leaders, the boys followed their orders. The next night, the men lured each boy out and shot them. The police were told by another gang member, Leslie Dale, that Jimmy, quote, was still gargling when he was dumped into the common grave, end quote. On August 21st, Bruce Sr. also tricked Jimmy Sampson and killed him. On August 30th, David and Norman Johnston riddled Bruce Jr.'s car with bullets as he and Miller were coming home from Hershey Park. Bruce Jr. was shot 8 times and lived, but sadly Miller died after being shot once. In 1980, David and Norman Johnston were convicted for the murders of the 3 boys and Robin Miller. Later that same year, Bruce Sr. was convicted for 6 murders, the same 4 as his brothers, as well as Jimmy Sampson and another man, Gary Crouch. They all received life sentences. That's the legend of the cult house on Devil's Road. In all honesty, I'm a little disappointed I couldn't find out more about the actual house. I've been researching this legend for a couple years now, and I still can't find any new information about the actual history of the building. I don't even know what it looks like because there are so many trees covering the property. There might not even be a house there anymore. Sorry to disappoint you all, but I'm not one of those YouTubers that trespass on abandoned properties. Well, maybe the internet can do its thing and figure out who owns it for me so I can ask them more about it. Anyway, thanks for watching.